She was the trailblazing fashionista for the elite. Her name is Cole Lowe. Cole Lowe was the first noted African American fashion designer in the United States. She designed high fashion for upper class women from the 1920s up until 1972. She's best known for designing the wedding dress of former First Lady Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy in 1953, one of the most famous bridal gowns of all times. Biography. Anne was born in rural Clayton County, Alabama on December the 14th, 1898 to Jane and Jack Lowe. She was the great granddaughter of an enslaved woman and her Alabama plantation owner. Anne was the youngest of two siblings. She had an older sister named Sally and attended public schools in Alabama until age 14. Anne's love for fashion was passed down by her mother, Janie, and grandmother, Georgia, both seamstresses who ran a successful dressmaking business patronized by the first families and high society of Montgomery, Alabama. At the tender age of 16, Anne took over the family business after her mother's passing. Anne was married twice. First to Lee Cohen, who she married in 1912. Their son, Arthur Lee, born in 1914, became Anne's business partner until his untimely death from a car accident in 1958. The marriage dissolved because Lee opposed Anne's career. Her second marriage to Caleb also ended when Caleb left, stating that he wanted a real wife, not one who is always jumping out of the bed to sketch dresses. Later, Anne adopted a daughter. Her name was Ruth Alexander. During the 1930s, Anne lived in Manhattan Avenue apartment in Harlem with her sister Sally. They were both members and attendants of the St. Mark's United Methodist Church. Career and achievements. In 1917, Anne and her young son Arthur relocated to New York City. She enrolled at the segregated St. Taylor Design School. There, she attended classes alone. However, that did not stop Anne from excelling, so much so that her work was shown to her white peers as an example of master artistry. After only attending classes for half a year, Anne was eligible to graduate. She graduated in 1919 and relocated to Tampa, Florida with her son. In 1920, she opened her first dress salon catering to high society. The salon quickly became a success. During the 1950s and 1960s, she worked on commission for stores such as Henry Bendel, Montaldo's I. Manning, Ches Sonia, Neiman Marcus, and Saks Fifth Avenue, and designed the dress that Olivia de Havilland wore to the 1946 Academy Awards to accept the honor of Best Actress for the film To Each His Own. Unfortunately, her name was not on the dress label as the designer. Due to her not being credited for her work, Anne and her son opened a new dress salon on New York City's Lexington Avenue called Anne Lowe's Gowns. Her unique designs made from high quality fabrics attracted wealthy, socially elite clients and became known for her signature designs created by fine handwork, signature flowers, and the trapunto technique, helping her to finally become recognized for her work. In 1964, the Saturday Evening Post named Anne society's best kept secret. And in 1966, Ebony magazine named her the Dean of Designers. Anne was known to be selective about which clients she wanted to work with. She once described herself as an awful snob, adding, I love my clothes and I'm particular about who wears them. I am not interested in sewing for cafe society or social climates. I do not cater to Mary and Sue. I sew for the families of the social register. Anne's wealthy high society clients included the Auchincloss, Bouvier, Rockefeller, Roosevelt Lodge, DuPont, Post, Bouvier, Whitney, and Biddle families. These clients also included wealthy high society Black Americans such as well-known pianist Elizabeth Mance and Idella Koch, a member of the Negro Actors Guild. Unfortunately, despite Anne's remarkable talent, she made little to no profit off of her designs. Her wealthy clientele would often talk her out of charging what she was worth, and after she paid her staff, she found herself broke, even at the height of her career. The famous Jackie Kennedy wedding dress. Anne's best known design is the wedding dress of former First Lady Jacqueline Bouvier Kennedy's for her nuptials to then Senator John F. Kennedy. It is known one of the most famous bridal gowns of all times and utilized 50 yards of ivory silk taffeta featuring interwoven bands of tucking that shape the bodice, along with similar tucking arranged in large circular patterns that adorn the full skirt. 10 days before the Bouvier Kennedy wedding, Anne's studio flooded and the dress was destroyed. However, Anne and her team of seamstresses worked overtime to remake the dress. Anne paid the additional recreation costs and never mentioned the event to the Bouvier Kennedy family. The dress cost $500 to make. That would be $6,000 in today's money. The New York Times covered the highly publicized Bouvier Kennedy wedding, including the intricate details of Jackie's dress. However, Anne was not received public recognition as the Bouvier Kennedy wedding dressmaker until after the assassination of JFK. In 1961, Anne was honored as a Couturier of the Year award. Unfortunately, in 1962, Anne lost her New York City salon due to failure to pay taxes. Last year's in death. In 1962, Anne began suffering from an eye disease called glaucoma, causing surgical removal in her right eye. While Anne was recuperating, an anonymous friend paid off her debts, which enabled her to work again after declaring bankruptcy. She then developed a cataract in her left eye, which was able to be saved by surgery. In 1968, Anne opened Ann Lowe's Originals on Madison Avenue. She ran the store until retirement in the 1972. Anna lived with her daughter Ruth in Queens until her passing on February 25th, 1981, at the age of 82 after extended illness. Legacy. Today, several exhibitions, museums, and fashion institutes display collections of Anne's designs, including the Costume Institute at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of African American History, and the Culture in Washington, D.C., the Black Fashion Exhibition at the Museum at the Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan, and the Winter Third Museum, Garden, and Library Exhibition and collection of Anne's works from the 1920s to the 1960s, from September 2023 to January 2024. French fashion designer Christian Dior and American film costume designer Edith Head both expressed admiration for Anne's designs. Anne's life, career, and achievements have been honored in books such as Arthur Piper Ugally's historical fiction novel by her own design, A Novel of Anne Lowe, fashion designer to the social register, and a children's book, Fancy Party Gowns, The Story of Cole Lowe, written by Deborah Mumendahl, in 2017. We salute this HERstory and history making sister.